Hey guys, I'm making a quick update video. Going live real quick. Letting you guys see Pretty Bird's setup. He's inside of an extra large kennel. This is the same kennel that we used while we were moving from Arizona through Oklahoma down to Texas. He's familiar with it. It doesn't scare him. Last couple of hours he's been making this noise, this congestion noise. He was never doing that before, but he's been making it lately. I don't know if that's a sign that he's getting stuff out. You know? Or that it's getting worse. No idea. His vet appointment is on Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. His appetite and his drinking water is still good. He's got VetRx in his water and around him and on him. VetRx is like, it's like an herbal thing. It's for upper respiratory issues. And it literally smells like, it kind of smells like a Vicks rub, I guess you could compare it to. Like it has a medical smell to it, but like a minty medical smell, like a Vicks rub smell. And it helps you breathe. Well, it helps them breathe. It's also good for ingestion. So he's been getting that. Hey, buddy. How you feeling, baby? Trying to keep things quiet for him, trying to keep him calm as much as possible. As you guys will have seen in the last video that I posted of him, the last short with my husband, we're trying to also make sure that he does not get depressed or that his morale drops down too far, because geese, much like swans, get depressed if they're separated from the ones that they love. So I'm trying to make sure to spend time with him, but like calm time, you know, to try and keep him okay as much as I can. I just fed him, so he's excited because I just gave him kale. I've been giving him vegetables 3, 4, 5 times a day, depending on how fast he's eating what he's got. He's getting kale, cucumbers, broccoli. He's not eating his grains as much, but he wasn't touching them at all. He was maybe messing with this, like, this bowl right here. You can see approximately how big it is. It's not very big. It's probably about a cup. And he was maybe eating, I don't know, a couple of tablespoons full of it before. And, like, I'm talking about in a span of, like, 24 hours. But these last 2 days, he's been eating between 2/3, 3/4, or the entire bowl. And I've actually had to refill it more, where I'm not just, I was refilling it regardless. I was throwing out the old stuff and always making new stuff because it's a waterfowl. Waterfowl get their food wet. And you don't want to leave it just because it's still there. And I don't care how much food I'm wasting. As long as he's eating, that's what matters. I'm trying to keep his enclosure as clean as possible. Of course, we're talking about a bird here that does not have bowel control, the way that, say, a dog or a cat does. So, he is, of course, pooping at will. And so, I'm cleaning it out. Depending on how much he eats and how much he poops in a day, anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day. I mean, it really depends, on how messy he's being when he's eating, if he's getting his bedding wet, if there's a lot of poop, what kind of poop he's pooping. There's a lot of things that come into role there. Also, we've had some people who have been so kind to help me with this upcoming vet bill, which has been a huge relief for us. With his appointment coming up on Tuesday, I'm expecting them to want to look for a few basic things. My husband being a medic, human medic, combat medic, he agrees with me that this is the most likelihood of what to expect. They will most likely be looking at wanting to do probably an x-ray or an ultrasound to look for any kind of obstructions or growths. See, he sounds really congested right now. He wasn't sounding like this before. So, I don't know. Anyways. And then, the other thing they will most likely be looking for is to do a blood test. They'll probably want to do a fecal, which is a poop test to check bacteria in the poop. And they will likely want to do something like a swab, like a saliva swab or a mucus swab or something like that. This is what we're assuming. This is like besides the physical exam. I'm saying additional testings on top of the regular visit. And then we're looking at the high likelihood of medication costs. I mean, shoot, the last time we did x-rays with a dog, an x-ray for a dog ran $500 for one hip x-ray. One picture at a vet. One freaking picture at a vet's office was $500. This was in Arizona. So the fact that there are some of you who have been telling me to share a form of a way for you to donate to help us cover this bill. You all right? The fact that there are some of you who are willing and who've been asking me to put out the information so that you can use it to send money his way to help me pay this, what will most likely be a huge bill, is a huge help. It's a huge relief. You're chowing down. Quick, buddy, you need to slow down. You hear me? Hey, bird. You need to slow down, buddy. You need to breathe. I know you're excited, but geez, boy. You get killed like all day long right now. I'm just glad his appetite is still up there. I'm just concerned that I'm concerned that him gasping for air, that he's not taking the time to eat and swallow and then breathe because he's having difficulties breathing, and that he's going to aspirate himself accidentally. That's one of the things that concerns me. But, and like I said, he sounds super congested today. I don't know. I don't know if that's a sign that whatever it is that we're doing is helping him, that he's moving some of that stuff out, that he's getting it out, or is this a sign that it's getting worse? You know what I mean? Because if it's something like pneumonia, which is what some people think, then in the human world, it can be a good sign if you've got like a really bad congestion thing going on, and then you finally start getting stuff out and you kind of have that stuffiness happening and it starts moving out, right? That usually often happens towards the end of like an upper respiratory issue. And you're like just clogged up and you're just like, ugh, and constantly blowing your nose, and it's just all really stuffy. Like it's just blocking basically, and you have a lot of pressure going on. So part of me is hoping that his body's getting it out. But yeah, anyway, in this video, I was going to mention for anybody else, I've been told to do this, and I wouldn't ask if I wasn't terrified of everything that's going on. And if any of you are wanting to help me when it comes to Pretty Bird's vet bill, there's a few ways you can go about it. One way to go about it would be to simply send a donation to Pretty Bird's, well, for Pretty Bird to my PayPal, which is spcmoken@gmail.com, which is spcmoken@gmail.com for the PayPal email. And then, let's see, but if you guys are not comfortable with that, now I plan on videoing, live streaming as much as I can before, during, and after the actual appointment on Tuesday at 2. To keep you guys involved. We're gonna have to drive pretty far. So, I'm planning on trying to just kind of bring you guys along on the trip, with that. And I don't know what I'll be allowed to record, or if I'll be allowed to live stream while we're in the office, and how that's gonna work out. It's gonna be a smaller office. But they did agree to see Pretty Bird. They did say that they can see a goose. That was one of the issues. I mean, even if I found an avian vet, there was plenty of them that just won't see geese. They're just like, no, that bird's too big. And I'm like, they're like, no, we only see tropical birds. So parrots and like canaries and animals such as that. And just, it's been finding a vet and finding a ride has been extremely difficult. There was a vet here in the area who did do avian, who did everything. She apparently did everything, every animal. It didn't matter what it was. She didn't care what you consider to be your pet or what animal you want to have seen. She didn't care if you were bringing in a goldfish or if you were bringing in a llama or an ostrich or a goose or a chicken or a dog or a cat or a turtle. She didn't care. Bring in your snake, your mealworms if you got to. She didn't care. But apparently, this person who was, according to word of mouth, an amazing vet, has passed away recently. So she was the one that was only like 30 minutes from us, the one that I would have been able to go to, and that the one that, according to other people, had no problem figuring out financial situations and like payment plans and such. But there's a lot of places that just won't see geese. They won't see chickens. It is insanely common to treat chickens and geese and other livestock animals at home, on the farm, on the homestead. It's actually considered very normal. It is actually considered unusual to take one of these animals to the vet. I mean, seriously, most of the time, these animals are kept as a form of, like, even though you're trying to provide them a great life, most people are keeping them as a form of business. So the amount of money that you put into the animal has to make sense for your business, basically, for them. And I understand the business model. I'm not comfortable with doing that myself, but the chances were that Pretty Bird was dealing with something that I could treat at home. You know, we were looking at what was the most likely scenario, and everybody initially was suggesting that it looked like gapeworm. It looked like gapeworm. All he was doing was gaping, breathing, gaping. No congestion sounds, no sniffles, no sneezing, no coughing. He appeared to be gaping. So we looked at that, and we considered obstruction. His poop's coming out normal, which ruled out some other things for the likelihood, and then we thought maybe upper respiratory. We tried some over-the-counter antibiotics, which are available for animals. And after getting all the dosing right and all the other stuff, and then try and administer it with Pretty Bird orally, we found out that Pretty Bird, being his very spoiled, stubborn self, yes, you, I'm talking about you, buddy, he decided that even though he would receive the oral medication and swallow it successfully without aspirating, he would wait about a minute, 2, maybe up to 5 minutes, and the minute I let him go do his own thing and he was no longer distracted, he'd start regurgitating. And he would fight that medication like nothing else. Like, he knew it had been forced down his throat. He knew this was something that was put into his body that he didn't want in there, that he didn't agree with. So he would literally, after every dose, spend an hour regurgitating. Meaning that, I mean, what am I going to do? Take an animal with an upper respiratory infection and put them through hours of daily stress of them trying to regurgitate a medication that, mind you, is very bitter and very spicy and does not taste good and does not feel good. You know what I mean? So he's bringing it back up, which is very uncomfortable in itself, upsetting his entire, esophagus, his crop, his digestive system. So, and the stress level of it, and then his breathing and everything, and stress is like the worst thing possible for an animal that's not feeling well. So, I could not, in good conscience, continue doing that. So, well, buddy, at this point, we've got a couple possibilities of what some people think is going on with Pretty Bird, based on his symptoms. You're making such a mess. I just cleaned you up. I literally just cleaned you up. I just put brand new bedding in there. You're like a cat when you clean the cat litter. And the minute you're done cleaning it, they go in and take a giant poop. I swear he's doing it on purpose. And I let him go outside yesterday for about 20 minutes to go see his babies, to see his flock, for a minute, and so that he could go and take a bath in a pool quick. And I did that because, well, he's a waterfowl, and he needs to be able to take baths and such. So, anyway, the point I was going to get to is that if you decide that you want to help me with Pretty Bird with his upcoming vet bill, the ways that you can do this is, one, you can choose to donate to my PayPal. It's SPCMOKEN, SPCMOKEN at gmail.com. That's the way where I will receive it immediately. I considered making a GoFundMe, but if I go about GoFundMe, they take like 10-20%, and it takes forever. From my understanding, I've never actually gotten money paid out from GoFundMe, but from my understanding, it takes a long time for the money to actually show up in your account for you to be able to access it. So, like, as in there are other complications, and plus they take money from you, which is why I decided to use PayPal, because it's the easiest, and you don't necessarily, from my understanding, you don't have to have a PayPal to be able to send money to PayPal. Anyway, I could be wrong about that. And then the other thing that you can also do is, and about the PayPal thing, anybody who were to send money prior to the appointment, please know that I've talked to the vet, and the vet has agreed, the front desk lady, she has agreed. She said that it is no problem. They will be able to print me out an itemized bill to reflect the actual cost of the appointment, the cost of the medication, the cost of the procedures, an itemized bill, okay? That will show everything that has been paid. So the total amount of what I've had to pay at the appointment, they'll be able to show it. And she said that she can print out whatever I need, in a way where I can publicize it without it, like, say, giving out my private address, right? Where it's from the vet, and I'm not just telling you guys a number. What are you doing? What are you doing, Goofy? Never seen him do that. Dig into bedding. I'm trying to dry your beak. See, here's one of the things I've been paying attention to. So when you look at the back of his belly right there, and you watch really close right there in this area where my finger, the shadows of my finger, you can see that with breath he caves. But I almost feel like it's less. That what I'm doing now might be helping him, and I'm hoping so. But here's the thing, even if Pretty Bird improves greatly between now and Tuesday, I'm still going in. I'm going to the vet. I've had enough, because he's improved before, and then he relapsed. And this is what we've been dealing with for weeks now. He improves, and then he relapses. And I can't have him keep going through this. His system's not going to be able to handle it anymore in the long run. Anyway, so like I said, I'll be getting an itemized bill. Sorry, I keep getting carried away. There's a lot going on in my head. We had a lot going on today too because we're in a rental home, and we had plumbers showing up today who were doing work all over the house, literally all day long. So today has just kind of been a mess. So anyway, let's see. Hey, bird. Hi, handsome. Hi, handsome. And he still has power in his lungs, which is good. It's good. Yeah. Mama likes to hear you show us some power there. Don't eat that crap. You got food over here. See, look, and when you're breathing, I feel like... You see that movement? That's not supposed to happen. He's not supposed to have that, like, kind of caving happening. It's been worse before. It's been much worse. The other day, when I pulled him inside, he was much worse. Like, his belly was caving like this. Like, we're talking full on. And I don't remember if in that video I caught it or not. But his stomach was caving much worse than that. And so in the beginning of the video, I actually put out there that I'm using Vetarex, which is kind of like a Vicks rub-ish, but it's also something that you can take orally. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're looking for your kale in that mess. You've got a bunch of kale here in the bowl. Anyway, and right here around all the edges, where the top and the bottom of the kennel meet, and there's kind of like a gap in between, I literally sprinkled it all the way around. It also goes into his water, and then it actually goes into his armpit, so basically under his wing where he shoves his nose. You put a little bit there, you put a little bit on his chest, and you put a little bit on his beak where his nostrils are. And it helps them breathe, much like Vicks Rub does for us as humans. But in this case, it's also helpful when they ingest it, so it can help them a lot, and it's like a homeopathic something that helps them. But yeah, so after I get the itemized bill from the vet, I'll be publicly showing it to you guys in a video, most likely at the vet office itself. Please remember that when I go to the vet, I'll be relying on another person who's driving me, so I can't just take the liberty to take my time. So I'm going to do my best to make videos, share videos, go live, all the other stuff, while I'm taking Pretty Bird to the vet. But I also ask that you guys have patience with me, and remember that if anything big happens, I will let you know. I promise you guys, I'm not going to let you hanging. I know there's plenty of you who've been following Pretty Bird for years, who care about Pretty Bird at least as much as I do, in a way, and who don't want to see him hurt and don't want to see him having any issues. So please know, I won't keep big news from you guys. I will do my absolute best to keep you guys posted. If you don't hear from me, it's because I've got 1,000,001 things happening. Because I still got another, like 30 birds that I'm taking care of. And I've got 2 kids, and I've got a husband who's a 100% disabled veteran who I'm taking care of. And 2 children that I'm homeschooling. So just know that that is not for a lack of care or lack of wanting to share or wanting to communicate what's going on. It's lack of time and lack of sanity sometimes. But once I show you guys that itemized bill from the vet, I wanted to let you guys know that if for any reason, which is very unlikely, but if for any reason I end up with additional money after the vet visit, as in I have leftover money from the money that y'all have donated, that I have not had to use for Pretty Bird's vet visit or his medication at that time, I will inform you guys, and I will give you guys I will find a way to give you guys that money back, to refund that money then, which is one of the reasons why I like the option of PayPal, because I can actually use that PayPal to refund the money, to refund what is left, and find a way to do it properly and fair. And then for anybody else that might not be comfortable, that's like, hey, I want to help you with the vet bill, but I don't know you that well, and I don't trust you just sending you some money, right? Apparently the vet has said that if you guys are comfortable sending me your phone number, which you can do in a private message on Facebook at Pet Goose Pretty Bird, or you can do it in my email, which is the same email as my PayPal email, spcmoken@gmail.com. I'll be posting it in the comments of this video. You can send me your phone number if you want me to call you from the vet's office. If there's money left over that I still owe, if you want them to call you on Tuesday after his appointment at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they can do that as well. I just talked to them about it, and they told me that they could do that because, I don't know, if somebody wants to help Pretty Bird, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable about it. And I want you guys to know that it means the world to us that there are people out there who have literally just reached out and said, how can I help? What's your, did you put up a GoFundMe? Make a GoFundMe. Do you have a PayPal? Do you have a Cash App? How can I help you? I want to help you take care of Pretty Bird. The fact that you guys have reached out and have offered that has been absolutely amazing, and really does mean the world to us. It helps us so much. Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, it helps a huge amount, and all of this goofy butt means a lot to me, and I refuse to give up on him. I refuse to lose him. And I'm so grateful that you guys are willing to help me. Him. Really. Anyways, I wanted to let you guys know that I called the vet and talked to them about that, because I really wanted to make sure that I could get an itemized bill from them, so I could share that with you guys. And I wanted to let all of you know, in case you haven't seen any of the notes or comments that I've made, that I will be trying to live stream and post videos while everything's going on Tuesday. And between now and Tuesday, I will do my best to upload videos daily to give you guys an update on Pretty Bird every day. Even if it's just a quick short, just to let you guys see, hey, he's okay. He's alive. He's hanging in there. Because I know there are plenty of you who genuinely care about him. You're a spoiled brat, you know that? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. He knows. Look at that water turning green from all that kale. See, I pause at pictures like this is because I'm showing you guys what I'm seeing. You can see that little, kind of that bouncing almost with each breath. It's his labored breathing. But I can't help but feel like it looks better than it did before, and I'm not 100% sure. But like I said, I'm not letting this happen again to where I think he's getting better, so I don't look further into the whole vet thing and then end up not taking him and he relapses. I'm not doing this again. Hey, Greg. Sorry, I didn't get notified about your message. I just now saw it. I figured I'd make a quick update on what's going on with Pretty Bird and post it so that y'all know what's going on, since I've been all over the place. Let you guys see him. Let you guys see what's going on with him. Him's in the hospital right now. It's what I call it. I call it the hospital. When I put him in a kennel and quarantine him, he's in a hospital. He doesn't like it too much, but he also knows the kennel. I think this is a big benefit of Pretty Bird having been a pet goose for so long. Right? I'm sitting over here just going off in the middle of the night. Um, I think that's been actually a big benefit of Pretty Bird having been a pet goose for such a huge part of his life. For like literally the first 2 years of his life living indoors as an indoor pet goose. And then having moved and used this particular kennel, we bought this for specifically to move for Pretty Bird. We bought this kennel because the other one was just too small and I was not comfortable with him using that one. You gonna eat your grains this time? No? Goofy? He still opens his beak while breathing, but I swear his body is just moving less. What, buddy? Hey. But, what's it called? Yeah, with him having been an indoor pet and having been, living indoors and living in, like, little areas and enclosures or, like, having had, like, my bathroom as, like, his home for a period of time. Before that, he lived in a little area that I built for him that was literally right next to my bed, for, like, the first, year and a half of his life? Or year of his life, he lived in that before I moved him over to the bathroom so he could have constant access to the bathtub after he figured out how to get in and out on his own. He's used to it. Like, he understands that there's nothing bad about it. So when I when I take him out of the kennel to clean it or to let him out for a little bit, just for morale, to give him some interaction and make sure he's not getting depressed, make sure he's doing all right, make sure he's eating, make sure he's interacting, and that he's doing all, like, to check him over to make sure he's okay. And I tell him, all right, Pretty Bird, it's night time. It's time to go to bed, right? And I point him towards the kennel. He just walks right into it. There is no fighting. There is no resistance. There is no him stressing out when I close the gate. He's not pushing against the walls. He's not trying to bite through it and get out. He knows it. He understands it. He knows that it's not a bad thing. It's kind of like a dog who's kennel trained versus a dog who's not kennel trained. Pretty Bird understands that this is not a permanent. He understands that this is not a negative. So he's just kind of like, okay, fine. I don't know why I'm in here, but all right. So, and that's one of the great things, because we definitely don't want him getting stressed out, because that's the two worst things that could happen while he's sick is for him to get depressed and for him to get stressed. Those are the two things we really, really want to prevent. And that's why I'm so glad that he knows this kennel and that he's familiar with it and that he's comfortable with it. Which means he's not stressed out about being in here. Yes, he misses his babies and all that. But he also is familiar with just being himself around humans, just him being around humans. So it's almost like, in a way, they miss him more than he misses them in the way they behave. Like, behavioral wise, they're freaking out about him not being there way more than he is reacting to hearing them outside. Like, he barely reacts to hearing them outside. Like, he kind of perks up or something, but he barely reacts. He kind of goes back to sleep or eats or whatever, or interacts with us. Whereas the other geese outside, they're calling him. They're looking for him. They're not understanding why he's not there. So it's heartbreaking, but it's also, in a way, it's good that Pretty Bird is not freaking out about it, because that would be really bad. If he started getting really anxious or started getting really depressed, I would probably not be able to keep him separate like this without being scared that it could make him worse, if that makes sense. So the fact that I can do this and give him that quiet and that peace to try and help him heal and try and help him get better, and keep a close eye on him and keep him in a controlled environment, right? I think it helps a lot, because otherwise I'd have a lot more concerns when it comes to depression and stressors. Right, Pitbird? Yeah? How you feeling? What? Your lungs still working? Are your lungs still working? Yeah. What you doing? You get your num-nums? Did you get your num-nums? Hmm? Yeah? Yeah? That's a good bird. Yes, you are a good bird. Just eat your grains, too. Eat your num-nums. Good bird. That's the other thing that's been really great is that, which has gotten my hope not, my heart not to, like, completely crack on all this going on, is that Pretty Bird's appetite never fully vanished. Though it did go down significantly at times. And yes, he has lost weight since all this has been going on. When it comes to his appetite for his greens, he's eating. He still has that appetite for his kale, his cucumber, his broccoli, the things that he really enjoys eating, his dandelions, grazing. He is grazing when he's outside. So that's really, really, really good because usually an animal has given up. And I'm totally knocking on wood over here. Oh, that was Mama. You're okay. You're okay. That's Mama. Usually a huge concern with a sick animal is when they stop eating and drinking because it's usually a sign that they've given up. And now you're basically fighting them to survive. And Pretty Bird, until now, has not given up. Even when his appetite went down significantly, he still ate something. I still got some food into him some days. He never went any days without eating at all, which is really, really, really good. And as you can see right now, his appetite's been good these last couple of days, which I've been really happy about. This thing was overfilled with kale. Like, I would not be surprised if his crop's getting ready to burst. Buddy. Hey. I know you love the food, but it'll be there in like 5 minutes if you take a break. You know it'll be there in a couple minutes still, right? What? 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 You need to slow down. Focus on oxygen. I swear he's talking back. Yeah, you are? Are you? Little butthead. Always got the last word, don't you? Yeah, see? See? Every time. Huh? Goofy butt. But on the other hand, on the negative side of his appetite has been very focused on greens. He's barely wanted anything to do with his grains. And I explained this earlier in this live. And he's been barely touching his grains. Now, the last 24, 48 hours, he's been doing much better about eating his grains throughout the day. So he's actually messing with it more often. He is eating some of his grains. But compared to how he usually is, Pretty Bird usually is a fatty. Like, he usually is a... And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean like with his food. Like he consumes food. Like he's very spoiled. He loves his foods. Like he has he only eats a certain kind of feed. Okay? Like if you put pellets in front of him or like layer feed, he won't touch it. Like it's below him. And if his feed does not have some like corn and grains and other things in it, he won't eat it. Like he's always been a very picky bird, which is my fault. It's the way I raised him. I spoiled the Jesus out of him from the get-go since he was a gosling. But it just the good thing is that when it comes to his greens, he's not turned against them. So even though he's been sick and not feeling so good, he's been eating his greens and doing pretty well. And that's great news. Absolutely great news. I'm checking my messages just in case. Okay, good. For some reason, YouTube is doing a really crappy job notifying me, by the way. So if you guys are commenting on videos and stuff like that, please, please, please don't believe that I'm ignoring you or that I'm not answering intentionally. It's either my inability to get my crap together and pay attention to things properly, but I swear, I swear YouTube is not notifying me. In the past, usually when you get a notification on a video that you post, that notification is at the very top of your notifications. Okay? So even if a video was posted of a channel that you're subscribed to, right? And that video was posted after somebody commented on your video, that comment on your video is still at the very top of your notifications, separate from the other videos. Okay? So basically ensuring that you see that there's been activity on your video, right? And this whole comment thing does not happen when it comes to, say, like another person commenting or replying to you on another video. It usually happens specifically with my videos. It's like it'll be separate. It'll be all the way up top. It hasn't been doing that lately. And I don't know if YouTube did some sort of upgrade and changed it, because then it did it today. So I don't understand, because there was like a whole 2 days worth of messages I was just not getting. And I was online. And that really bugged me, because I don't want people to think that I'm not replying intentionally or that I'm ignoring people, because I don't. I usually reply to every comment there is. Every comment I see, I reply to. At the minimum, I'm gonna like it, and I'm gonna heart the comment at the absolute minimum. And the only reason it happens that way, if I don't end up commenting or answering, is because I didn't remember to come back because I got sidetracked with something else that was happening in my home. But I want to reply to everyone, you know? It's just, I don't know. You have a good night. Thank you for checking in. Yep, this is pretty much where I was going to end the video anyway. Because Pretty Bird needs to have lights out and go back to sleep. I'm just trying to make sure that he eats on a regular basis. Gets lots of healthy food into him. Right, Pretty Bird? He said night-night? Night-night. Night-night. Night-night, Pretty Bird. Yeah, you keep checking down. Yep. Alrighty. Y'all have a good night. I gotta get myself to bed as well. It's like, I don't even know what time it is. It's almost 1:30 in the morning here in Texas. So, I gotta get to sleep. Pretty Bird needs to go back to sleep. Yes, you do. No arguing. And, I will see you guys soon. And I will, like I said, do my best to, at the minimum, post a short each day, so that y'all know that Pretty Bird is doing alright. And then remember, I'll be posting videos, and I'll be trying to live stream on Tuesday for Pretty Bird's vet appointment. Alrighty, guys. See you then. Pretty Bird, say bye. Night-night. Say love you. Good bird.